Okay, I'm back. This should be the last video on this topic. I think I can get it all on one. So we're going to pick up about the 10 high holy days beginning on September the 6th through the 16th. The Day of Atonement. That's a good holiday for that to be in that time frame. So 45 controls all of the countries. There are still ones that have to be stopped, like the CCP is in China, the cabal in Russia and Israel. I can't remember the names of them. The president in Russia and China are good guys, and they are members of the countries, but the countries themselves are not, because of the deep state. Now let's discuss the deep underground dumps. These are connected all over the world. Most of them have been blown up. Some of them are still controlled, but we're working on getting the rest of them. And that is why you are hearing of so many earthquakes. There was many under the White House and Capitol. And if you notice, there have been many floods in that area from getting rid of them. Now, Trump wasn't told about them. He had bad people around him giving him bad intel during that time. There's been so much excavation going on at the White House that things are still happening. As of last week, you'd see these huge trucks. You see dump trucks there. You see tents up with people working over the cement, and they could be placing something dangerous down there. So they do have it blocked off. And that's why the Capitol has been closed so much. Like the controlled demolition of the Twin Towers were used. This is how the cabal took down the buildings in Florida. We've already talked about that. But again, a lot of people were killed. But what I wanted to say is they got to that Florida building from the tunnels. Let's go back to 9/11. This is the actual date of the Jubilee. You can see where God is in control of this process. They're using the old Mayan calendar, and I don't have answers to this calendar, so you need to research that. 45 stated that the White House will never have a president in there again. They are, however, using it for the tribunals. They use that, and they use Gitmo. It is on sovereign ground and not a state, so the tribunals can be held there. Now, we talked about Gitmo yesterday, enlarging, and how much that costs, and had the ramp for that one specific president, 41. And they are been flying in lawyers, witnesses down there. If you've heard of Monkey Wrench, he tells you every day what the traffic in the air is like. It almost tells you who's on the plane. Now 45, along with the number 17th letter, and the military has been giving you all the information by using numbers, colors, the number 17, post on the chan boards. These posts are like 2 and 3 and 4 years old, so they're called Delta. Let's say, to go back to the date that a certain date is, they'll say go back to 2 Delta or 3 Delta, and you'll find it's exactly what they had put on the board years ago. They used the looking glass. I don't really understand all of that, but to get the information with the exact dates of something was going to happen. There's been a very long plan with God directing it. Why have the prophets been telling you for years what the plan was also? God told us of the war within our borders. I heard that about 4 years ago. About the nuclear plans that they had. I've listened to them all. He's been telling us, God's been telling us stuff all along. But people are not listening, or they're not understanding the prophets when they tell it, or their faith wasn't strong. They didn't understand what God was trying to tell them. But He has been. How Renegade and Evergreen had the 16-year plan, but the prayers of the righteous prevailed. So I'm sure you have questions about the supposed 46. The best way to catch them all was to let them prove to the world how bad they were. If we told them, they wouldn't believe it, especially the D's. How on 11/3, what really happened there? If you haven't heard about them checking them all out now, we still wouldn't know. They keep saying for a year, would 45 really leave, or would we have to drag him out? Did 45 know what they were doing? Yes, he knew. He's known all along. This has been an operation that has been in progress since the 60s. You let criminals continue to do what criminals do, and you record it all. Now, the Space Force wasn't just created last year. We just found out about it last year, and they got their name. But it's been there for a long, long time. I told you that the technology is so advanced. So advanced. So they have it all. They call them all. It's just taking time to take them down because they keep threatening to do things, and they are doing things. But they have them all on film. They have them all the phone calls, the emails, all the communication. And God saw everything. And He's told it. You want to talk about technology being so far advanced again? We didn't even know. We don't know a portion of how advanced we are. We're just starting to learn. They have cures for all the diseases that Big Pharma squashed it, killed people over it, so they wouldn't let it out. Again, it's all about the money. I just found out last night. Now, don't take this as gospel, but I believe it. I think because the jabs haven't gone the way they planned, that, this sickness that we had a long time ago, even the president had it. I think it was polio. They're putting it in the flu shots with the kids. So parents, listen up and don't let your kids get a flu shot. They've been stockpiling this for a long time. Remember, since this supposed man who thinks he's president, is using the time to depopulate the world. This is what they planned to happen in 2016, remember? Borders are being wide open to bring in these people. They're bringing in plane loads of Afghanistan to America. And then who's paying for all this stuff? We are. So this was supposed to be a third world country, but God stopped it. Now 44 took out our factories to other countries. We wouldn't have food, water, work. We would lose our homes and stuff. God stopped this from happening. 45 is being used by God to stop this. Praise the Lord for that. I told you that I would mention number 35 again. He was in the middle of the number 17 of the alphabet, involved in that. That's how it all started. Years and years ago, the 60s. A few years ago, the military made the number 17 letter of the alphabet. And if you look of how they're dressed in a light color and the dark color, how it goes down the center, if you look really hard and zoom in on it, you will see that John is right there in the picture with all the military. He has been involved in this for years. I'm sure you heard of Patrick Kennedy, who supposedly died within hours after being born. He didn't. He was sent away to live somewhere else so he could live. They knew that most of them were targeted and how more of them have died, but he's back and he's working with the good guys. As hard as they tried to take out a lot of the family, they failed. And now we know that John has 6 children. 3 of them were, the embryos were implanted into a family member who delivered the 3 oldest. But Carolyn really had the 3 others. They are smaller children. But they think they're superstars. They were in on the rallies that 45 had. But you can see John, you can see Carolyn, you can see some of the kids because they were at the rallies. One of their children is Ezra Cohen Watnick. I've told you about him. And Kayleigh McEnary, whoever that woman is that's been working so close at the White House. Carolyn, you could almost see everything about her. She only had a hat on, like a rally hat. Of course, John was disguised a lot. He was at the night show that the pillow guy, before that symposium, one of the night show hosts asked him to come on their show. Well, John dressed up like the pillow guy, and he went on TV. He's also been in a movie dressed up. He always wanted to be an actor. And he is dressed up like Vincent Fusco. Now, there are 3 people that play that part. 2 other people are shorter, so you know which one is him. He's been in the White House a lot of time taking pictures. If you had looked real close in the Marine One helicopter, you would have seen him sitting in it. You may wonder why 45 never stopped the Dems going this long. When he was elected, they tried their best to discredit him. He went through a fake impeachment. He heard Russia, Russia, Russia. They said everything bad about him. He was an orange man. They made fun of that. They made those balloons when he went places. He talks sarcastic to people, and they didn't like it. And they didn't want him to be president because of that. Their feelings were hurt. Boo-hoo, your feelings got hurt. He came out and told what his plans were. Whether you believed him or not, people had to be shown. Borders had to be open to turn us into the third world country. On 1/3 had to be proven. The pipelines had to be closed. Executive orders had to be signed by the dozens. More jobs were lost. The push has become harder with the lockdowns and pushing the jabs. People losing their jobs over this. It was okay to work last year, but it's not okay this year. Nurses, doctors, firemen, police, they're all losing their jobs because they won't take it. People are protesting all over the world. Some countries are completely locked down. Countries from all over the world are looking at America because if we go down, they go down. Now, it looks like I'm running out of time again, so there is going to be a third video. So I'm going to turn this off now.